This is not going to end well. Hey guys, Mark, our Gamer Dude here with a review of issue 53 of the Sonic IDW series. In this issue, we continue on with the cliffhanger of Surge obtaining the Dynamo Cage. When she reveals herself to Eggman, he has his badness attack her, only for the cage to absorb the power, which surprises Eggman. The cage is not supposed to work like that, apparently. So, it makes you wonder how it was really going to be working, as intended. Surge destroys his robots and teases Eggman, saying he's lucky that Sonic is #1 on our hit list. And with that, she escapes. And with her new power, she gets far from the city. As she celebrates her new abilities, she stands in fear, hearing Starline? Starline is gone, but this Starline isn't real. See, the device is causing her to hallucinate, and as the Starline hallucination mocks her, she blasts him away. The next day, we see that Sonic, Tails, and Belle are back home, and even have Kid with them. That blew my original prediction out of the water. Sonic is getting healed up from his injury, and Kid is trying to help, but he's still got some issues to work on. Meanwhile, Belle is tending to her fallen Motobud. There's one other thing to bring up. Sonic wants to tell Kid what happened to Surge and Starline, since considering, even though it was very messed up, they were his family, quote-unquote. Tails is worried that it might be too soon to tell him, and Kid walks in, overhearing them talking about him. And with a very, very sad moment here, Sonic tells Kid the truth, and oh, this poor Kid. I mean, we all know Surge is alive, but for the moment, Kid thinks she's gone. Oh boy, man, this really hurts. While Kid grieves, we are back in Central City, with Surge on the attack, asking anyone if they want to volunteer to fight her. And with a blast from a Wispin, we see that Whisper has returned. The two begin the fight with Surge taken aback by the Wisp powers. She attempts to fight, but she's out of juice. That's when she remembers what Cubot spoke to her about. So she has Whisper attack her, and she absorbs the pink Wispin. She attacks Whisper again to try to take more Wisp, only for the pink Wisp to come out. And Surge, with an evil smile, grabs it, slams Whisper into the ground, and fully absorbs the Wisp power. Surge is full-on power crazy. I might as well call her Psycho Surge at this point. Whisper pleads for the blue Wisp to help, but Surge manages to take that Wisp as well. Back at Tails' workshop, Jewel informs Tails about what's going on, so he and Sonic go down to the city, while Belle watches over Kid. Aww, my heart. Surge apparently got more Wisps off screen, and she's getting bored of this. And Whisper grabs a sharp piece of her broken weapon and goes for Surge. Yeah, she's trying to end her. She does not hesitate, but Surge takes her down with the blue Wisp. However, her victory is short-lived, with the Starline hallucination coming back. Tails and Sonic arrive on the scene, and while Surge continues to hallucinate, Sonic drops in and is ready for round 2 against Surge. Don't know how it will be since he kinda still is, injured. Whisper is furious and wants Tails to get her Wisp back. Remember, her Wisps are like, the remaining parts of her, family. Her friends that, got taken out by the Shadow androids. Belle is still with Kid and they are watching the news reports. Kid wanting to help, tries to leave, but Belle says he needs to stay and watch over himself. The problem is, with Surge gone, Kid doesn't have anyone for him to do stuff for. He sees Sonic as a good surrogate, and doesn't want Sonic hurt at all. He can't lose him. He can't. Belle tries to plead with him, and Kid subdues her and escapes, not knowing he's going to run into Surge. Oh my god, this issue. Alright, let's tear everything apart here. First, I was right. The Dynamo Cage is having Surge hallucinate, but it's not just cause of the Dynamo Cage. If you read the fake Starline's dialogue, it's because Surge is still looking for answers deep down. And the only person who could have given those answers was Starline, so her conscience is protecting him. I didn't expect her to hallucinate so quickly, since it's a major plot focus in issue 55. But hey, it's here, and speaking of Surge, I've never seen her look so scared and terrifying. The art, wow! She is full on ready to take on Sonic, again, and her fight with Whisper was amazing. Poor Whisper though. And focusing on Sonic, I was surprised to see that Kid was still with Sonic and company, despite wanting to find Surge. But we'll touch on that with this revelation that Sonic made to Kid. After he finds out about Surge and Starline, And this moment just made me want to hug the poor kid. I want him redeemed already. When he speaks to Bell about Sonic using him instead of Surge, it's because of his programming that Sonic put into him. He was made to be a yes man to Surge. And we saw that he still doesn't know how to think for himself, do things for his own benefit. Everything that he did while with Sonic, it was to do things just for him. Kid doesn't know how to be anything but a glorified sidekick to a glorified speedster. Like I said, since Kid thinks Surge is still gone, Sonic is a good surrogate for Surge, which is probably why he stayed with the group in the beginning, but you can see a little bit of him Kid, depending on Sonic a little bit. Since again, Surge was made to replace Sonic, so yeah. Now, going off script here, I've seen some people going around debating over how Sonic told Kid about Surge being, gone. Now, people seem to think that he shouldn't have done this, it was way too out of character for him. And, it reminds me about how the whole, how he reacted to Starline's demise, the big oof thing. I really don't get why people were, upset about it, because it would have been a lot worse if Sonic lied to Kid about Surge. Imagine if Kid, asked about them, do you know what happened to Surge? Is Surge gonna come get me? And then Sonic and Tails, just lie to him about saying, Surge is somewhere, or Surge is somewhere else, and yada yada. To them, remember, Sonic, thinks that Surge is gone. We know Surge isn't, but to them, she's gone. It would have been 10 times bad and way out of character for Sonic to lie to Kid about something like this. But I wonder, what will happen when he discovers Surge is still alive? I still think my prediction of her not needing him anymore may come into play, because if you noticed, once again, in the entire issue, Surge has not once brought up Kit. She left Eggman's capital city and went all the way to Sonic's hometown and never once wondered about him or even looked for him. Even though we know he left with Sonic and company, she didn't know that. So she essentially just left him there, abandoned him in a way. Surge before did need Kid to help back her up in certain situations, like with Melasonic. But with her new power, she may not want or need any more help from him. And if that happens and she tells him off, oh my god, Kid is gonna suffer even more. He's been through enough. Like I said before, I don't see either of them staying villains for long. The next issue continues to fight with Power Surge, yes, I'm still calling her that, against Sonic and Tails. And possibly, Kid might be going against her or be with her next month.